There are many Musashis in Fate, but the one we follow most of the time is a rarity amongst them all. Born a female, she pursued swordsmanship on her own, inventing the Niten Ichiryu style, the way of two swords, that incorporates 4 and later 5 different styles as seen promptly in Samurai Remnant. Her main goal was to seek the void, or in other words, zero, as a way to surpass her master, who had a technique called the One. This Musashi was born with mystic eyes, allowing her to see many possibilities and even other worlds. When she fights, she chooses to search for her preferred outcome, making that the only one that can possibly happen. This is likely the reason why she can shift into other worlds. Considering her own world was ruined, cut off from progressing any further due to quantum time lock, she now has no home as she goes to other worlds and at some point is ejected from them. But in Kalos and the Lost Belt, this ability is restricted to only taking her to places on the bleached earth, essentially becoming a teleporter. In Onigaishima, for her trial quest where she is first introduced to us, she is a human, yet to ascend to becoming a servant, nor has she found the void, though it is in the singularity Shimosa that both her and the Chaldean master have to fight the 7 heroic spirit sword masters, who are immortal unless you can cut them down to the soul, which she's able to do after acquiring a sword from Muramasa that can do so. This particular sword, Muramasa considers a failure at the end, in her last act as a human, that she fights a nameless swordsman who looks to be Sasaki Kojiro, but they may not be. During the fight, the two of them reach the apex of their ability, entering a domain, or rather a realm, where the void and infinity meet. This allows Musashi to finally reach the zero that she's wanted to for a long time, to oppose Kojiro's swallow reverse, an attack that hits from multiple angles in a singular moment. With the master being the only person to see this moment, they're going to decide that Musashi is the winner of this battle. It is in the castle, which is burning at this point in time, becomes her resting place where she takes her last breath. It is in that the nameless man meets old man Musashi before his death, telling him about the experience he just had. Musashi at some point will arrive in Chaldea as a servant, leaving a message and becoming a contracted servant for Chaldea as she continues to hop from world to world. Her next big adventure is in Fate Samurai Remnant, where she appears as a berserker this time, where she is to meet this world's Iori and serves as the servant of Dayu Takao. Mind you, Dayu being a title, not her name. The thing is, Musashi didn't make an official contract per se with her master, like other servants would. In this case, they have more of a agreement. She was summoned to Samurai Remnant when Takao was protecting a girl from a violent customer, and Musashi appeared to then cut them down. In the story, she operates more so as a free spirit. Most of the time, she is doing chores for Takao, considering she can't leave Yoshiwara, her place of residence, as she pleases, and essentially goes where the wind takes her, usually helping Iori out of sticky situations. Musashi is one of the servants that's unaffected by Tsuchimi Kato's manipulation, which has affected both rogue and servants with masters, because unlike others, she is special. While Musashi advises Takao against going after rogue berserker, Takao disagrees, and realizing her master's resolve, Musashi takes back what she said and helps Takao to save berserker, Musashi acting as a distraction, fighting berserker so that Takao can cut his hair, weakening him, allowing him to be defeated and no longer be a pawn of Tsuchimi Kato. Musashi also helps in the defeat of Ushigozen's spider ox thing, weakening them so that Iori can deal the finishing blow along with Saber, and depending on your route, maybe even Rogue Saber at that too. It is after the defeat of Ushigozen where she decides to face Iori for their fated duel, in the place of her male self, who trained Iori to be a strong opponent but died before he got the opportunity. It is in this fight that she is surprised surprised to see that her student and son from another world has learned the swallow reverse, the move of her rival Sasaki Kojiro, admitting her defeat, fading to wherever fate takes her next. Back to Fate Grand Order, she appears as a berserker again in the Las Vegas event, going under the name for the most part as Miyamoto Iori, since this takes place after Samurai Remnant, even though the event was made way before Samurai Remnant. Of course, everybody could tell this was Musashi, but went with her ploy anyway. The reason she is here is because she decided on her journey to cook udon within a holy grail, resulting in her being split into two, her saber half and her berserker half. And thus the point of the tournament is to find a strong enough saber to defeat her saber half, she can reclaim it again. Getting to the main story again, we have Lost Belt 1 Anastasia taking place in Russia. Here she mainly assists Chaldea while she is there, first appearing in the labyrinth of the Minotauros. And of course one of the first things she does is rattle her blades to try to pick a fight with Billy the Kid, as she is known to do against opponents she's interested in fighting. Now usually Billy will accept this, but this isn't the right time for that. Prior to this, Musashi was actually doing essentially mercenary missions and surviving off whatever food she could get to keep up her strength, which isn't required anymore because she basically made a temporary contract with the master for the rest of the Lost Belt. One of her biggest roles in the Lost Belt is actually helping Mash, who's conflicted about her lack of ability, no longer being able to utilize Galahad's abilities. She also helps Mash understand what is her reason for fighting, trying to give Mash a new perspective to consider moving forward if they're going to continue fighting, not knowing if they're obviously the ones who are right or wrong. Her last act is cutting the trunk of Ivan the Terrible, the Lost Belt King, before she is ejected out of the Lost Belt, where she will then eventually run into the Chaldean. Musashi's last appearance in the story is in Lost Belt 5, Olympus, which is the second half of the LB5 saga. This is where she reveals to us that she can no longer go from world to world, but is now teleporting from different locations of the Bleached Earth to another, which is how she made her way onto Olympus. Together with Chaldea, she helps them slay the machine gods, although she does get hit by Aphrodite's mental corruption ability that makes both her and Sherlock think that the Master and Mash are their enemy, and they have a bit of a scuffle before coming back into their right minds. It is during the Zeus fight, after she is defeated, that chaos would then emerge. The situation seems hopeless considering they can't even get close to it to even try anything. So with the help of Grand Lancer, Ramus Quirinus, and the help of the Stormborder, for the last time, she opens the path to the void, going beyond zero to both seal herself and chaos in it, essentially erasing them from the world, which is why her data is now lost, because she no longer exists in the world on that technicality. Now, if you want to learn more about the quantum time lock and what it means for your world to be pruned if they don't make the cut, check out that video next.